Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid in another game of Dominions 4. We're in the multiplayer game Garden of Good and Evil, and it is turn 23, and we are starting episode 10. So let's get started. Okay, let's look at the diplomacy. Agartha. We don't know about your situation, Dead Ones, but we want to secure our cave exits and just stay there. We have no interest in leaving our caves further, but to learn about you from the reanimation of death is what we wish. So Agartha has asked for peace. If we look at this, I've beaten him without even trying, really, in 3 battles. So, yeah, basically he said stay out of the caves. Next we get a gold from Ryleh. I wonder what that is about. Why is Ryleh giving me 1 gold? Which, by the way, I'm poor as hell. I'll take a gold. We would like to fund the Amorian research into better insults. God of the sea, serpents of the dead, set Yig. So, I can't remember what I sent him last turn. I need to remember to show the messages I'm sending. I'll try to remember to do that at the end of each of these turns. Let's take a look at what happened. So we took, this was the Swamp Province, and we took it back with all the ghouls. We also have taken this province. So Ryleh decided he would try to kill me, and he did some damage. Did not kill any, or he killed one of my lictors, but otherwise didn't get any of the sacreds. So that was a really good battle here. Agartha has attacked another province, which this is our province underground that we won the battle in last turn, but lost a ton of troops. This battle, we lost a lot of ghouls, unfortunately. I hate losing ghouls. And this battle, we just lost PD. So Ryleh's taken 2 of our provinces. He tried to take 3. One of his main armies died, so that was really good. But he's moved another army, unfortunately, onto the map. We had some militia come and attack. They were defended. We had some events. This is the event when your archbishop is standing on top of an ancient temple, and you can see I got a temple and I gained a dominion. So that was really good. We also had Mound Kings come and attack me. That's fine. This is the worst magic event in the game. The worst, right? Magic is fading. This can only happen if you take Misfortune 3 and Magic, or Drain 3, I think. Maybe it's a slightly different criteria, but it's something like that. This is the reason why you don't take Misfortune and Drain together. Because occasionally you get this event, and it destroys all of your gem reserves. Fortunately, I only lost 3 Death Gems, but I lost a lot of Earth. I was going to be able to use Earth. I lost Fire. I don't really have a huge use for Fire, and I lost Air. What this event made me realize is that I probably, because this is going to happen every once in a while, probably every couple years I'll get it, I probably should be alchemizing more gems that I'm not using into death gems. Which is definitely something you can do. Astral, they alchemize easy, it's 2 to 1. Everything else is 4 to 1, so it's really a high cost, but if you don't have anything else to do with it, you can go and alchemize them into death, and then you can spin those gems instead of them getting burnt up in the magic is fading event. If you have globals that you think you may be able to put up with those gems at some point in time, you will want to hold on to them, but aside from that, probably not. Fortunately, I got some gems back. I got a Baneblade and I got some gold. So I had a good event too. That's good. And actually, gold is so scarce, I would almost trade all the gems, even though this is a really bad event. I would almost trade all those gems for the gold. Which actually brings me to something I haven't thought about yet. We're going to look it up. In Conjuration, no, where is it? Alteration, we have a Transmute Fire. This is one of the best. And Distill Gold. That's really interesting. So Transmute Fire is really good. It's almost worth researching too. There's another way to get it, and I forget if it's... I think it's an Earth one. I'm not going to sit here and keep doing it. Is it Thaumaturgy? Enchantment? Construction? No. Evocation? No. It must be here in Alteration too. Alchemal Transmutation, this is one of them. And the final one is probably 2 down. Curse of Stones, Tempered Flesh. Earth Gem Alchemy. Great. The fire one's still the best, but this is pretty good. So, Alteration 1 and 2. This is another thing you could do instead of transmuting Death Gems into Death Gems, is you can spend them here. That's probably actually the better thing. I'd have to get 2 levels in Alteration, which is something I want to do anyway. So I might do a pit stop off of Thaumaturgy before I go to 5 and come up to Alteration so I can start spending some of these. Either way, actually I can re-edit my next turn, so I may do that. Let's take a look at this fight. This is the fight where Ryleh attacked me, and I had defensively moved to protect my high-income provinces. Okay, so you can see he doesn't have that many Lobo Guard. This looks like about 80 or 100. And he's got banishment spam set up. And they're absolutely going to get wrecked here. Right, so the Lobo Guard die in droves, they can't hurt me. See, a whole wave attacked these guys and they didn't do 1 damage. Right down the middle. The banishment spam hurts. It's like 30 damage a hit. There we go. That time it didn't do any damage. That was mostly due to magic resistance checks. So you can see this going pretty well. Their Communion Masters, the Star Spawn, have left, but that leaves these guys paralyzed with 200 fatigue, so they can't run. So that was good. That was a really clean win. This group here is probably not going to attack me. It's probably going to move down here. I don't really have anything that can attack here. I don't know what Ryleh is going to do here. Ideally, if I had an army... Like, this army, actually, this might have been a better move, because it's almost certain he's going to attack here with this army, because he's not going to want to fight. He could move here, but if I did that, that would be a really, really strong move, because they would have crushed this army. Instead, though, I moved these guys, I believe, right out here. Or right here. No, I moved these guys right here. And there's actually a reason for that. If I moved this army up here, I would kill these guys, but these guys would move here this turn. Not a problem. But next turn they could move here and potentially take this fortress that's coming up and has 2 turns left. So I really don't want that to happen. So that's probably the main reason I'm moving these guys here, is to prevent this fort from being lost. You can see I'm still side searching here, even with a big army next to it. But don't worry, I have them on retreat. So that's important you do that with your side searchers when you're in a war zone. And I'm going to be taking this back. So things are going good. Still not getting attacked by Nazca. You can see I've taken this fort, but it's unharmed. That should let me know there's a big army inside here. What I do is I send him to attack here. My thought is I would rather not attack. Have this army attack here, because he's probably going to break the siege with this army attacking. That's the logical move. What I'm doing is I'm sending him to attack the army that's going to come break the siege. If this worked, it would have been awesome, because the way movement works is if you're both attacking each other... Okay, the way turn movement works in Dominions 4 is first, everyone moves into their defensive province. So if it's a defensive move, if you're moving from here to here, you always go first, right? Then everybody does their moves into attacking provinces. So if I was moving in here, then I would go. Why that's important is you're always guaranteed a defensive move. That the fight will occur in the province that you go into. So I don't think he gets a defensive move if he's coming in here, because he doesn't actually own this province since I'm camping on top of it. If you're moving into provinces that each other control, then, because I think he's moving into a province I control and I'm moving into a province he controls. In that case, I believe there's some very complicated algorithm to say which battle the province actually occurs in, and I really want it to occur in this province. Really, really want it to. If it occurs in this one, I have to fight a big army. So that's the thought. If anybody knows better, please correct me. This is one of the kind of complicated mechanics about Dominions. So we got these guys. I think they're moving out here. Or no, they're moving here to defend against a potential push. You can see I have my Dominion here. This army actually is probably starving. I think it'll trigger for next turn, but I'm not totally sure. So that's one thing, is they have to have big armies to kill me, and these big armies really cannot invade without a lot of food for their troops that they bring with them. I've got 4 guys reanimating lictors. That's good. I've also got outquills on a bunch of my dudes now. So last turn I was able to get everybody to finish, I had finished construction, and I had mentioned that I had switched to thaumaturgy. And in parallel with finishing construction 2, I built outquills. So I have a bunch of outquills. My research was a good bit better, but I put more guys on forging outquills here. So once they all have research, once they all have outquills, I'll probably be at 150 research, which is really, really high for Ermor. So that's really good this game. Even though my expansion was bad, I got really, really lucky with this site, the Desert of Bones. So those are the important things. This guy, he got the temple completed, so he's moving back. I would like to move him here. Actually, he might have been able to. Can he move here? Oh yeah, I should have done that. I don't know why I had him moving here. That kind of wasted a whole turn. Either way, he's going to pick up troops here on his way back, because I think I did submit the turn with this order. There's no population here, so it's time to move these priests out. No population here. All the population here is also gone, so it's time to move these priests out also. I'm sending these ones over here where another fort's going to be, so they can go ahead and get ghouls up. These priests are reanimating ghouls in this province, and these guys are moving here to help with that effort. This priest, however, is taking this item, the Bracer of Protection, back to my capital. I'm not going to send the mummy, which I get from this event, out probably until I get Construction 4, because I have very particular items that I want to put on him. That is about it. Anything else? I don't think so. Taking these provinces, my thought here, so this army, what I've actually done is I've set this group to reanimate lictors and just stay here and kind of guard this in case Agartha sends a force. But all the troops that were with them, there were a lot of troops with them, I have given them to this Mound King, and the Mound King is going to go attack here. So I've got 2 armies attacking here. I'm going to get the throne back next turn. If I get both these provinces, my income will be back in the 500s, which will be really good. So that is this turn. I've got this army rampaging that I'm not really trying to fight. I'm not expecting this army to fight. I'm not expecting a defensive move here. But he could, because he probably knows I want to attack this, either with this army or this army. So he's probably thinking I'm going to attack this. But he's probably not wanting to waste this big army's turns. So my expectation, could be wrong, is that he'll attack here with this big army, or he'll attack here or here. With the thought, really, that he'll try to move closer to my forts. Because this is an army big enough, you know, he could potentially storm one of my forts with it. So that's my thought. It may be starving too. So if the army's starving, he may be moving it back. We'll see how it goes. So that is this turn, and we'll catch you guys next turn. Okay, it's next turn. should edit that part out, since really I didn't stop. This is the current turn, so I may actually change some things after, as we're doing this upload, because I can resubmit. We had a really good turn. We found 2 magic sites, a Well of Pestilence, which gives me death, which is good. It's also good if, once I get my fort set up here, and there's no population, having a Well of Pestilence on top of a 0 supply province is nice, and a maze is an excellent site. It gives me 2 Astral Pearls. So those are really good. I also found another magic site, Mudfield. That's just an Earth Gem, a 1 Earth Gem site. I'll show you where these are. This is where I found the 2 good sites, and here is where I found the other site. So normally Well of Pestilence is like a mixed boon, but here you can see it increases death ritual range by 2. This potentially could be useful, but it increases death and it spreads disease. Normally it's a mixed blessing, but for me I like spreading disease. My guys don't really get affected by it except this poor little commander. I think this guy has disease, but disease doesn't do anything on undead troops. So it's not going to affect him. He's at his maximum HP. The other thing you can see that I did is I put my lictors on this Mountain King, because Mountain King have the best leadership of all my commanders. Even Censors only have 10 leadership. And these guys need good morale. As you saw in this fight down here a couple turns ago, my lictors actually routed. So when possible, and I kind of have enough commanders now where I can afford for pretty big lictor armies to go with the Mountain King, which is going to help. I probably could have picked up some of these undead too and put them in my formation. I don't know why I didn't. But let's take a look at the big thing. Here are the big things. This guy defensively moved back into this province, which I was not expecting, right? And if you remember, I sent an army from this province to attack here. So let's see what happened. Oh, we know what's going to happen. This is an army with no sacreds. It's going to be really good against province defense, but it's going to be really bad against banishments, right? Or solar rays, which looks like that's what he's doing, right? I mean, look at them getting torn to shreds. Right? He's probably going to lose maybe one logo guard, you know? Just absolutely crushed. So that was unfortunate. But fortunately, my weaker undead are pretty expendable. Predictably, he moved here. I took back my high-income province. I'm setting these guys to reanimate Lictor. I actually am not super interested in taking these provinces back. Here's my wounded troop. This was my commander of this army, so let's watch this battle. I was sitting on his fort. I tried to move here. He did an attack, and he also broke siege here. So I was unable to fight him in this province, which I wanted to do, and instead we had a big battle here. Now I thought I might win this battle too, even if they fought it here. I kind of underestimated how many troops they had. Look at all those Tiger Riders. That is so many. And then he's got these guys too. I think these are sacred. Yeah. So these are summons, Gandharvas. I forget how much they cost, but those are pretty dang good. So, if we look at it, I've got a pretty big army. I've got my front lines, and then I've got the cavalry coming in. Now, if you look at it, it's about, this is probably 30, 40 tigers versus 12 of these knights. This is going to be no contest, right? Tigers are good, but my knights are just way bad. Look how much damage I do. But you can see by the time I killed these guys, most of my other army is gone. And what that means, as you can see, my troops splitting up. I had put these guys in two groups. One was attack rear, one was attack closest. So the group that was attack rear has now broken through. These guys are attack closest. So they're going to come down and finish with the tigers. I'm not sure if that was a good idea. Probably was better not to. Probably better to have them all go together, and probably all have them go attack closest. But it's hard to say. The problem with attack closest is I get punished by all their mages while I'm back here. The problem with going all on attack rear is that these guys can break through and go and pick off my mage in the back. So I thought, wow, might as well split it up. But if you split it up, these guys kind of came here, but not with enough force to really kill the mages. So they lost a lot of dudes, but that was definitely a loss for me, right? Because if we look at the battle report here, here's the fight. They lost almost all their Tiger Riders. They lost a couple white ones. These guys were on guard commander. And they lost a couple Gandharvas. That's basically it. They lost one mage, but not most of their folks. So me, on the other hand, I lost all my knights, 15 knights. This is a big army, right? That's really painful. Losing 15 knights, you don't like that. Fortunately, I didn't lose my archbishop, and that's really, really important. So in some way I'm happy, but I mean, it went well for me that I didn't lose the Archbishop. That's a big deal. But I did lose one of my bigger armies. They were not free. They took a lot of units worth of gold down with them. But that was uncategorically a loss. So, what are we doing now? We're going to keep site searching. I'm going to try to site search here. It's very likely he attacks this province, so I'm on retreat. And I'm also sneaking, so should be okay. Here, we're just going to defend this province. Very likely Nazca attacks this turn. He's been kind of sitting there, and I've opened all this up, and I'm sure he has scouts out here. So he might come in and attack all 3 of these provinces. Now, ideally, expecting that, I might put an army here to pick off raiders that come. In fact, I should do that. But raising lictors is nice too. It's also possible that he moves this army back to attack here. In fact, that's very possible. So I think I'm actually going to stick with this order because it's probably just as likely he attacks here as Nazca attacks here, maybe even more likely. So given that, I might as well have one more lictor. I lost this province. It's not really an issue. It's 1 income. And I started building a fort here last turn. I don't think I mentioned it, but part of that was thanks to the gold event. I could also start making fire. I really want to get distilled gold. I'll go check the math. I think it's like 10 gold per fire gem for the lowest level, maybe like 12. So how much would that be if I spent all my fire gems? So 12 times 13. Yeah, it's not that much. It would be like 150. It's not nothing. It would be worth it. We'll see. Maybe I save my fire gems. It's actually a lot better if you get the higher level spell, transmute fire. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to go to Thaumaturgy 4 before I go for alteration, so it'll be a while. What else? You can see coming in here, we're doing some troop shuffling around. Really, I'm kind of on my heels right now. I'm not going to be able to hold on to all this land for that much longer. I need to pick off one of these guys, but to do that I need to make another big army. And you can see I don't really have any army here to form up this turn. I've got a small swath of troops. I've lost, I think, 2 Mound Kings now, so 2 of my undead commanders, which is not great. I mean, they're easy to replace. So I've got this guy coming in. I've got this guy coming in. I've got a fair number of troops here. I've got a fair number of troops here, but nothing to ferry them. And then I've got a lot of troops here, but not really anything to ferry them. So I need to be really careful about using undead commanders at this point in the game for things other than shuffling troops around. Yeah, so I can use mages, my priests. That's probably what I should do. Like maybe I take, let's see how many troops are here. Like it may be better to bring these guys back here. This is probably not worth it, so it's probably better for him to go ahead and move. The other thing I need to check is, so you see none of these priests are on retreat. They can't really get attacked this turn, but they could get attacked in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys all at the back, because I do not want to lose priests. And I'm going to put them all on retreat. For those of you who don't know, if you do Control and then a hotkey, like Control 3, you can kind of copy and paste the moves from one guy to another. So that's what I'm doing. there. This guy's coming back, and also this guy's coming back. If we look in this province, I'm basically just pulling this one army out of the way, and I expect that this army here is probably going to take back both of these provinces. So I'm laying a little bit of a nasty trap. My expectation is not that he takes one province back. If he moves this whole army here, that would be a little unfortunate. But what's going to be more unfortunate for him is that I'm moving my biggest army I have. This is my biggest army I've made so far onto the map, and it's coming right here. He is not going to expect it. I expect he will send most of his troops here, like 2/3 of them here and 1/3 here. And that would be absolutely perfect, because whoever he sends here is going to die to this. Even if the best case would be he sends all his troops here. Well, not best. I would really like 2/3. If he sent all his guys there, it would be good because I would kill them all. But I think I would have higher casualties. If it's 2/3, it'll just be a complete massacre. So that is kind of the thought. This guy is moving kind of aimlessly. In fact, it would almost be better, especially with the banishment spam, if I move this guy here. And the reason is, a few more sacreds on the field always help. In addition, spamming more protection of the unholy sepulcher, it stacks, and versus a fair amount of banishment and things like that, it's certainly helpful. So I think that's what I'll do. I think this guy, I think he's only going to just spam protection of the sepulcher. That's the thought. What else? I think that's about it. I don't know where these armies are going to go. I'm hoping he's going to come here. This army may move here. That would be pretty probable, but he also may take here. I think Ryleh really just wants to get a foothold on land, probably put a fort or two up. In some ways, I should let him so I can take the fort. But we're not going to. Worst case for me this turn is Nazca moves back in and takes all these things and starts this horrible chase me around thing that he did a while ago. What I need to make sure, and it's not a threat this turn, is that this fort gets up. So all the troops that come in, if Nazca attacks, I'm going to be routing them all here, and then having them camp here and spamming lictors or something while they do that. Because I am not going to give this province up. I'll give everyone else up. So that's the plan. That's the plan so far. In terms of research, yeah, going up thaumaturgy. Ghoul production, you can see I've got all my priests out of here. I really am done with building priests for the time being. In single-player games versus the AI, I normally am much bigger at this point, and my income usually is still around 1,200, which is usually higher than I can like build forts in good places. So, which you can always build more forts faster, but when you're building forts so fast, you need more priests to build more zombies to hold your fort walls up. So I don't need that because I'm not expanding forts as quickly. And it's really, really dangerous for us humans to put priests out in the open because the AI, I mean, people are much better raiders than the AI. So, yeah, so my priests are basically going to continue reanimating ghouls until I've re-ghouled all the provinces adjacent to forts. Then they're probably going to go inside forts and do Long Dead. I'm not going to put them 2 provinces away from forts. And I'm done with priest production for a good long while. So that is most of this turn. I think we've covered all the cool stuff. Yeah, had some more bad events. That's to be expected. Let's look at the messages I sent out. So I sent a message to Bandar log, basically saying that monkeys should not resist death, they should embrace it. And that's a little bit of saying, well played, as he killed me in that last battle. And I've responded to Scaleria asking me to approve of his plans to attack Ryleh, and I said, yes, Ryleh is large and bloated, like a corpse in need of harvest. It's my role playing the Dark Lord. And Agartha agreed to attack Ryleh, so I've told him good, my disciples. So, as part of the role-playing, I'm not allying with anybody, but if people agree to join my cause, I'm calling them disciples, and I will let them continue on their mission without my resistance. So that's kind of funny. The other thing is you can see I have no money. That's because I'm building a fort here. What I would like to do too is build a temple in this province on this turn, but don't have enough money because next turn my fort's coming up, which is awesome. 3 Dominion, that's okay for your fort to come up with, but I want to get it higher. This Dominion's really low. I don't know quite why it's so low in this province. Maybe I should site search more to try to figure it out. I wonder if there's events that have been causing it. Foreign priests have infiltrated the local church and corrupted tenets of the faith. I'm going to have to look up this event and see what it does. I probably need to patrol here. That's what I'm guessing. So, if that is the case, then what I'm going to do is put a bunch of these guys here. And I'm going to patrol, and hopefully I can find these. Well, the priests they'll get killed. So what we're going to do instead is put these guys in the army, because they are much less likely to die. And if I fight a bunch of priests, which is what I expect, then the trick is going to be avoiding damage or banishment spam. So I'll put them in a sparse line formation, which really I should consider more in some of my battles. Like in this one, we know... Actually, I don't think... Does he have communion spam here? Not really. Let's see what he does here. So he does communion, slave, and master, but then he's shooting off cold bolts or something kind of dumb. He'll probably do... Crispy, cold bolts. So he's just shooting cold stuff, which is actually not really that good versus me. So... Cold bolts, doesn't really matter what formation I'm in. I'm going to keep them like this, but I think my other big armies, like this one here... yeah, we'll see. Maybe this very front line. Who else is in the front line? These guys are in the front line. Maybe these guys go... Oh, they are sparse. So that's good. So I put these guys in a sparse. I could put these guys in sparse formation. They take a morale hit, but that's fine. They still have morale 17. I think I'm going to do that. That'll help with banishment. Because I'm definitely going to get some of that up in here. It's also possible he doesn't attack, but we'll see. So I think this is my best bet. And the other thing I'm doing that I'll just mention is I'm moving... When you get this event, let me show you the event. Ruins of an ancient temple have been found. Its crypt is sealed with magic. The mages of the Old Empire probably have knowledge of such things. This is the event where you get your Divine Mummy. It's a national event. MA-Ermor always gets it. There's a turn minimum. They can't get it too early in the game. What it does is it makes this site appear, which gives you a pearl. If you put an Archbishop on it, you get a temple, which is awesome, because you're very gold poor. And if you put a Spectral Mage or a Dusk Elder, a Spectator or a Dusk Elder on it, two things will happen. One is eventually you'll get a mummy. When the mummy comes, he'll curse, and maybe disease also, all the units in the... or many of the units in the province. The other thing, and this is really important, is you may, I think it's about a 50% chance, that before that event happens where you get the mummy and the event goes away, you may get +1 in Astral for the mage you put there. So usually, if you have the luxury, which I kind of don't, you want to put an S2, like an Astral 2 mage, or... because Astral Earth is such a good cross path, you'll do one of your Earth randoms. So that's what I'm doing in this case because I don't have an S2 and I'm not going to sit around and spam for Dusk Elders just to get this +1 event, even though that's viable. It's just, I need to go ahead and get it. And it's really good because I can get crystal shields if I just... It makes it a lot easier for me to get up the astral tree if I have an S2. Because I can put earth boots on him, then I can do a stone coin and a hat, and that'll get me up to S4, which would be really good. So he can do things like build golems and other things like that, if I were to ever get to that high of a research. So, anyway, good to put it on this dude. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm way over in terms of my normal time limit for turns. So, see you guys next time.